Okay,
Good
hello
morning,
students.
sir.
Good morning everyone. Am I audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, very good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so before we start with today's discussion, I would like to just make you a revise that in our last class we have already discussed about the partitioning method, that is K-means clustering, and the K-medoids clustering. These two clustering techniques we have discussed in detail in the last class with some numerical examples we have taken. Today, I would like to discuss some more variant or one of the very interesting and important variant of K-means clustering, that is incremental K-means clustering. Right? You can say it is a research notion of this kind of unsupervised learning or clustering technique, a research motivation you can say, and incremental clustering is heavily used in various research fundamentals or in various research works. And this K-means incremental clustering, not incremental K-means. Incremental clustering is applicable for any kind of clustering. It may be incremental K-means, it may be incremental density-based clustering, it may be incremental hierarchy clustering. So there are various types of clustering I already discussed in the last class. So this incremental concept is applicable for all kinds of clustering techniques, right? So as we already discussed about the partitioning method like k-means, that's why I'm interested to discuss with you the incremental counterpart of the k-means clustering technique. That means incremental k-means. Then we are moving into our next clustering technique, that is density based clustering technique, that is dbscan. And I would also like to discuss about the incremental dbscan or incremental density based clustering technique as well. Okay, so incremental K-means is actually is such kind of clustering technique which is mainly suitable for the dynamic kind of databases. What I have said, that incremental K-means is such kind of clustering technique which is mostly suitable for the dynamic kind of databases. Dynamic kind of databases means the database whose data values are constantly changing. That means new data inserting at each and every moment, or existing data are deleting from each and every moment. Okay, that means the data is always updated, the data set is always updating, or database is always updating constantly or throughout the time, right? That is called dynamic database or dynamic data sets. And incremental clustering is mostly suitable for this kind of dynamic, to handle such kind of dynamic data sets or to make a unsupervised clustering for such kind of dynamic database. So as you understand that in real world or in real life scenario, most of the databases are dynamic in nature, right? Because static databases are very rare in real world scenarios. As for example, if you are analyzing the stock market, whatever database you have received.
Sir, your PPT screen is not visible, sir.
Yes, no, I didn't show the PPT screen yet. Okay, I'm just discussing, just listen it and then I will show. Okay. So in case of
Sir.
dynamic databases, so in real life, like in stock market, the dynamic databases is play a very vital role. Why? Because in stock market, the data, whatever data you have received from any kind of, you can consider any kind of stock exchanges. You can consider Bombay Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, or any other kind of stock exchange, national stock exchange. So whatever data set you will receive in case of stock market, that data set cannot be a fixed data set or static data sets, because all of you know that the stock data sets are always updating at a particular time. So in 1 second or in 1 minute of time, million trillions of data are inserted into the stock market dataset, or some existing data are deleted from the stock market dataset. So it is constantly changing its data sets, or is constantly changing the behavior of the data set. So that's why these are called dynamic data sets. As for example, weather forecasting data set is also a dynamic kind of data set, because each and every time, each and every hour, the heat, the temperature, the humidity, everything is constantly changing, right? So this is the major difference between static data set and dynamic data set, right? So obviously, this incremental clustering is suitable for the dynamic kind of data sets where the data are constantly changing. So in our work, how can we implement? Suppose you are going to implement these incremental k-means or incremental division, whatever you will learn, you are going to implement in terms of code by the help of in the R platform or in the Python platform. Now, on which kind of data sets you are going to apply this kind of code? That is a question mark, right? Because dynamic data set is very difficult for handling because it is constantly changing. So we will consider one data set, okay, one static data set, and we are trying to inserting a new data during the technique of the clustering or in the middle of the clustering technique. So obviously, while we are inserting some new data on a static data set, which we are taking as an input data set, obviously the data set will somehow working like a dynamic data sets because new data are inserted within the data sets, but which I have already told that in case of dynamic data sets, either new data are inserted into a database or the old data or existing data are deleted from the database. Okay, that means database is always changing or updating itself, right? So today, I would first like to discuss about the incremental k-means, then we will move into our general density-based clustering, and then we will go for the incremental density-based clustering, right? Because we have already discussed about the general k-means or typical or existing k-means in the last class, so that's why I would like to discuss today incremental k-means, right? So what is incremental k-means? So incremental clustering mainly cluster the randomly new coming data into similar group of clusters, which I already told because it is suitable for the dynamic data sets and it is mainly used for random clustering. The data which are coming randomly into your input data sets, and this incremental clustering is suitable for grouping. Grouping means clustering, grouping of similar objects means clustering, making those group or make those similar kind of groups from those randomly new coming data. That is incremental clustering, right? Now, the main approach of this paper or of this work, whatever you say, is to cluster those new inserted data in such a way that they take less amount of time to cluster than they take in case of actual one. Actually, the work which I am going to discuss today is one of my research work in my master's, which has been published in several reputed conferences and journals. And there I actually proved that I actually devise a new algorithm, a new incremental version of the existing k-means algorithm. That means this algorithm I have written, I have devised in my master's research work, and I actually apply the concept of incremental k-means clustering into a very popular pollution control board data set. That means the data set which contains various attributes of a pollution control board collected from the West Bengal Pollution Control Board, and I have applied this incremental k-means for those data sets where some new data has been inserted into those data sets. And I did a overall implementation of those in those cases of incremental k-means, right? So how it actually happened? So what advantage we actually achieved by applying or by adopting the concept of incremental k-means, right? So the main approach of this work is to cluster those new inserted data in such a way that they take less amount of time to cluster than they take in case of actual one. That is the major line or punch line of using incremental clustering. That means if you are not able to using incremental clustering, suppose you are able to use typical clustering, typical k-means, that is the existing k-means which we have already learned on the incremental data sets, on the dynamic data set, that means the data sets which are constantly changing or some new data inserting into those data sets. So if you are applying the typical k-means, whatever amount of time it will require to do the clustering using typical k-means, if we are applying incremental k-means on that dynamic data set or the data sets where the new inserted data are coming randomly or constantly, so in that case, we will get much less amount of time or we will receive much less amount of time to cluster all the data. So from the time efficiency point of view, our incremental k-means clustering is much better than the typical k-means clustering or the existing k-means clustering. That we will prove, we will obviously prove. And how we are going to do that? So what do you mean by incremental here? This point is very important. How we can calculate the incremental concept? Incremental concept will be calculated, incremental concept can be mean as percent of delta change in the original database. That means in the original database, how much percent of delta change you actually achieve, that represents your incremental concept. That means insertion of some new data items into the already existing cluster, such as percent of delta change in DB. DB means database is equal to how we are going to calculate this percent of delta change. We have calculated this percent of delta change in our database with the help of this formula. New data minus old data divided by old data into 100. So how much percent of delta change, or how much percent your database has been changed compared to new data, while when the new data is inserting based on the existing data or old data, that will be calculated with the help of this formula. New data means the data which are inserting in the database, and old data means the existing data. That you are calculating the percent of delta change of your data sets. That means into 100 means percent, you are calculating percentage change. Right. Up to this, it is clear. Anyone has any question? Is it clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Try to understand very careful. Okay, this concept is very, very important and very, very interesting as well. Now, this is a pseudocode of incremental k-means clustering. We have already discussed about the pseudocode or the typical k-means. This is incremental k-means. Very simple. Just try to understand. These are data set D, which contains a number of attributes or objects, whatever you say, observations. N is the number of data points. Okay, that means number of observations N represents, and these are number of attributes. Okay. Now, what will be the output? Output should be a set of clusters. This input output is similar to a typical k-means, right? Now, in case of typical k-means, suppose CI is your assumption cluster, starting cluster. You have to assume. If you remember that we have assumed the starting cluster. So run the actual k-means. Actual k-means means your existing k-means or typical k-means, not incremental. Run the actual k-means algorithm and cluster the new data CI properly. New data means the data which are randomly coming into your data set. That is the new inserted data. You are cluster proper and repeat till all the data are clustered. যতক্ষণ না data cluster হতে যাচ্ছে ততক্ষণ তোমাকে এটা repeat করে যেতে হবে. Suppose you have already made a final table as a cluster, right? If you remember, in last class I have made a final table where the number of data will not further change in among number of clusters. The static the algorithm will be terminated in such a case where there is no change exists among the data in between the clusters, right? So suppose you have already done a final table to decide that this is your final table, or this is your final set of clusters, and at the same time, two new data has been inserted into your data set, or one new data has been inserted into your data set, because dynamic data is always changing. Okay, always new data inserted or old data or deleted, right? So suppose two new data has been inserted in your database. So in that case, you will face problem, and you will have to rerun your k-means algorithm again along with those two new data. Okay, that is the problem. So actual k-means, we will assume here that actual k-means will, suppose it will take t1 amount of time. Suppose it will take t1 amount of time. You can take any unit to represent this t1 time, either milliseconds or second. Actually, milliseconds we prefer to take. So t1 amount of processing time, suppose this actual k-means will take. Now, if you are using incremental k-means here, so what we actually do? So we actually do, in case of incremental k-means, suppose let k represent the already existing clusters. Okay, compute the mean of existing cluster and directly cluster a new data CI. What do you mean by that? We'll have to first compute the mean and directly cluster the existing data from CI. CI is your existing clusters, and we will calculate the distance between the existing clusters. That means cluster centers. CI is the cluster centers. Okay, and M is actually the cluster means, the new cluster means. So the data will be attached or inserted, or will be attached with along with such a clusters whose distance is minimum directly from the mean. Okay, and this will applicable for all the new inserting data, only with the new, for the new inserting data. This concept will not be applicable for all the data. It will be applicable for only the new inserting data. That means only the changes that actually happen at a particular time on that data set. It will applicable for those data only. Okay, and it will repeat until all the data samples, all the new inserted data samples are clustered properly. And suppose the incremental k-means has been taken, suppose t2 amount of processing time. So actual k-means taken t1 amount of processing time, and incremental k-means taken t2 amount of processing time. Then we will compare in between these two times, t1 and t2, and we have found that t2 is less than t1 up to a certain threshold value in a database. That means up to a certain percentage of delta change, up to that amount of threshold limit, your incremental k-means performs better than your typical k-means. Okay, but after that threshold, again typical k-means performs better than the incremental k-means. But we have we have at least introduced that up to a certain threshold, our proposed incremental k-means has performed better than the typical k-means. So this is the overall pseudocode of this algorithm. Now let me. So this is the overall flow chart which I already discussed. This is the original data set where the existing k-means clustering is applicable or applied, and it will show in the result data sets. This is the incremental data sets where the incremental k-means is actually applying. Okay, only on the increment. So incremental k-means is applicable only on the incremental part. I repeat again, incremental k-means clustering is applicable only on the incremental part. That means the data which are newly coming data or newly inserted data of the database on which the incremental k-means is applicable. Okay, and then we will actually do the performance evaluation based on the time measurement T1, T2, and we will found that up to a certain value of the threshold value of the delta change of our database, our incremental k-means is performing better than the existing k-means or typical k-means. Okay, so the same pseudocode concept has been represented here in the terms of flowchart, right? This is another flowchart. The same thing has been represented. Now let's take the example which we have already taken in the previous class, if you remember. This is the example we have already taken, if you remember. These are the number of data. For the sake of simplicity, we will assume here only 1D data, one-dimensional data, right? And we will take Manhattan distance metric function for the distance measure function. And these things, in the last class, I already told that we should not consider these things because these two new data has been inserted with the value of 17 and 9, INS. These two new data has been inserted because this database is now working like a dynamic database. That means database where the new data has been inserted at any amount of time. And then how our k-means, incremental k-means algorithm will behave, that we will check it out here, right? Very good. First, we will check it out, our typical k-means. These are typical k-means which I already discussed in the last class. Okay, first we have to calculate first we have to choose 3 cluster centers, assume 3 cluster centers that should be separated from each other as separated as possible. 3 cluster centers for 3 certain ranges. And then we'll calculate the distance using Manhattan distance metric function. We'll calculate the distance from all the other database, excluding this I and S. Because these are the new incoming data after a certain amount of time. So when we are calculating the first case, the I and S is not part of this database, right? So the typical k-means is working here, and these are the clusters of the first phase clusters of the typical k-means. Now we'll calculate the new mean. I think you have remembered it. So we will actually gather the corresponding data values of the all the corresponding clusters and calculate the new arithmetic mean from each clusters. And that will be your next new cluster centers. So we are replacing these 3 cluster centers with these 3 new arithmetic mean. And we will perform the same operation as a second iteration of the data set, right? So these are k-means clustering. Typical k-means of 3 means. Why 3? Because we actually assuming 3 cluster centers. So that's why k equal to 3. That means 3 means clustering. Okay, sometimes it's called 3 means clustering, right? Now, if after a second iteration we will found that based on this arithmetic mean, there is no change at the output of the existing clusters. That means whatever output you will get in the first iteration, in the second iteration you will get the same output. That means all the data values belongs to the same cluster, similar kind of clusters what you have received in the first iteration. So no change. That means we are doing nothing. So that is the case of typical k-means or existing k-means. Try to understand. Okay. Now the 2 new data has been inserted. I17 and S9 are inserted, right? So how the typical k-means algorithm is actually approaching? Typical k-means কিভাবে কাজ করবে? কেউ বলতে পারবে? When this 2 new data has been inserted, how this typical k-means is working? This 2 new data is again added with the existing data sets. এই যে existing data set টা আছে, মানে এই যে first iteration এর টেবিলটা আছে, these 2 new inserted data has been added along with the all the existing data. সমস্ত existing data থেকে যেটার সাথে added হয়ে যাবে. And we'll have to repeat this entire steps, entire number of iteration again for the typical k-means. তার মানে বুঝতে পারছো তো? যখন তোমার শেষ হয়ে যাওয়ার কথা, মানে এইখানে you are going to terminate your algorithm, and at the same time 2 new data has been inserted and you are again rerunning your algorithm. So you have actually inserted the I and S with this data set. Look, here I and S I have been inserted with this data set. And again we will calculate the means, the new clusters. Okay, and then again we'll calculate the mean, arithmetic mean, and again we will actually repeat for the next iteration. So each and every time, whenever the new data has been inserted, in case of typical k-means or existing k-means, you have to insert or add the data along with the existing data sets, and again rerun the typical k-means again and again. So the result, so it is a more time consuming and more affordable process. It takes more efforts and more time consuming. I think you can understand that thing. তাই তো বুঝতে পারছো তো? Do you understand that thing?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear to everyone? Why it takes
Yes, sir.
more effort and more time consuming? So we can improvise that thing, or we can reduce the effort and time by introducing the concept of incremental k-means. What is the incremental k-means concept? Very, very simple. এই দুটো লাইনের মধ্যে কনসেপ্টটা বলা আছে. These two lines. So in the first approach, after the first iteration, incremental k-means will be always applied after the first iteration, because first iteration এ পরেই তো নতুন ডেটা গুলো ঢুকেছে. So this data will be inserted after the first iteration or at the end of the second iteration. So already you have all these things with you. So in case of incremental k-means, the new data will be directly subtracted, or the new data, the distance of the new data, new inserted data will be directly calculated from the existing means. এই যে existing, এই যে new data গুলো আছে 17 আর 9, 17 আর 9 is the new data. এবার 17 এর সাথে এই যে তিনটে ক্লাস্টার যে এক্সিস্টিং মিনস গুলো আছে প্রত্যেকটা ক্যালকুলেট করব আমরা। তার মানে 17 minus 13.3, 17 minus 6.7, 17 minus 2. You will get this thing. 17 minus 13.7, this one. 17 minus 6.7 is this one, and 17 minus 2 is this one. Right? In the same way, we will calculate the distance by subtracting from the new inserted data along with the existing means. What are the existing means values or existing cluster center values? These are the existing cluster center values. So we will directly subtract it from 13.3 minus 9, 9 minus 6.7, and 9 minus 2. And please remember, we are always taking the modulus because we are doing the Manhattan distance, right? Right. So from here, we will choose the minimum distances. Minimum distance. So what is the minimum distance for I-70 is 3.7. That means I-70 should insert into cluster number 1, because because this is the mean for the cluster number 1, this is the mean for the cluster number 2, and this is the mean for the cluster number 3. So which has the lowest minimum distance, the data value should be inserted into that particular cluster. So I-17 will be inserted in cluster 1, and S9 will be inserted into cluster 2, because 2.3 is the minimum distance among these three. Am I clear to everyone? So from here, from incremental k-means, from here you can directly say that I-17 should be part of cluster number 1 and S9 should be part of cluster number 2, without doing this operation again. That we have to do for the typical k-means. দেখো typical k-means যখন চালাচ্ছি, typical k-means যখন চালাচ্ছি, these two lines will give you the same results. Last give a notice on the last two lines. So I-17 will be part of which result? 1, and S9 will be part of which one? 2. So this will be similar to these two results. Okay, I-17 is part of cluster 1 and S9 will be part of cluster 2. So you don't need to rerun the entire algorithm again along with the addition of those two new data with the existing database. That you will have to do in case of typical k-means or existing k-means. But in case of incremental k-means, which tells you that instead of rerunning the algorithm, you can directly subtract the new inserted data from the existing cluster centers or from the existing cluster means. So which one is the existing cluster centers? This one, because this cluster center has been changed after the first iteration. So this is the last existing cluster means or cluster center. So you are directly subtracting the new insert data value from this existing cluster center, and you can directly take a decision. The value which is minimum from which cluster, the value should be inserted into that cluster. And your decision is similar to this one. So the result is same, but the second approach means where you are using the typical k-means, it's time consuming and more effortable compared to the first approach. First approach means this one, incremental k-means approach. Understood? বলো কে বুঝতে পারোনি? Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Is
Yes,
it clear
sir.
to everyone? কে বুঝতে পারোনি বলো? Then I will repeat again. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So, okay. So I actually applied this incremental k-means concept into a West Bengal Pollution Control data sets which I have collected from West Bengal Pollution Control Board, which contains these four attributes: SPM, RPM, sulfur dioxide, and nitrous oxide. Right? These dates are actually the serial number. We don't require it. So I have almost collected the data sets from at almost 3 to 4 years. Data sets have been collected from the West Bengal Pollution Control Board, and I have implemented these entire concepts in Java language. At that time, R and Python was not so flourished. অত ওদের Scikit learn package গুলো অতটা ভালো ছিল না. So at that time, either we have to use C or Java, right? So there was a Weka software which actually gives you a Java framework at the back end. So it is basically very easier for me to implement this code in terms of Java coding. So these are some code snippets. Okay, I have that code if you want, and then I can share with you. Okay, that is not a big deal. But this code has been entirely written in Java, and it has been as a database. We are using MySQL, and I am using MySQL to store the results of the k-means clustering. Right. So these are some code snippets which I actually use for incremental k-means and dbscan as well. These are incremental k-means code, and these are dbscan code. Okay. Now go for the results. These results you have seen. Look at this table very carefully. These results we have seen for the West Bengal pollution control data sets. For this data set, we have seen that result. Okay. So look at the table very carefully. These are original data. Okay. And this is the time consumption. We actually compared the two algorithms, typical k-means and incremental k-means, based on a parameter called time in terms of milliseconds, right? So this is the original data. So I think you can understand the changeness of the data. That means each and every step, the data has been added with a new 100 data. So it is started with 1,000. So while it will do the typical, this is the actual k-means clustering. Okay, not increment, this is the actual k-means clustering table. When we are actually applying the actual k-means or typical k-means or existing k-means for the 1,000 data of West Bengal Pollution Control Board data sets, it will take 156 milliseconds. Okay, that is based on the architecture. What architecture I have used at that time? At that time, I have used, suppose I have the Pentium 4 architecture. I think so. No, Core i3. I think Core i3, and that's a very slow process. The first generation of the Core i3 I used. Okay, not the last generation or the current generation of Core i3. And I have a 4 GB of RAM. Okay, so you can understand the speed based on the architecture of the machine that you're using. So for 1,000 data, it will take 156 milliseconds. For 1,100 data, that means the data which has been incremented by 100, it will take 172 milliseconds. তা কেউ বলতে পারবে for in between two steps, how we can calculate the percent of delta change in the database? In between these two steps, how we can calculate the percent of delta change in a database? এই দুটো স্টেপের মধ্যে percent of delta change কিভাবে ক্যালকুলেট করব বলতে পারবে? I have already told you the formula. কত হতে পারে?
Sir, old minus new by old.
No, new minus old by old into 100. So what is the new data? What is the old data? So
1,000.
yes. So 100 divided by old data, that means 1,000 into 100. So that is the percent of delta change that we have used. Look, this is the percent of delta change, 10%, right? So in this way, each and every case, the percent of delta change has been increased, because in the next step, this is the new data and this was the old data, 1,000. So 1,000 minus 1,200, that means we actually 20% of delta change, right? So these are the time. Please look at the time very carefully. These are the changes of the time. Okay, so I have been showing here the first the data up to 1,600. Okay, and their corresponding timings for the actual k-means. Now this is the graph. A graph I have shown how the time has been incremented. The time in milliseconds, and this is the number of data change in the original database. Okay. Now we actually apply the same concept for the incremental k-means, and I already told incremental k-means is only applicable for the incremental data. So this is the incremental data. I think all of you are agree with me. These are the incremental data: 100, 200, 300, 400. So incremental k-means is applicable only on the incremental data, and its corresponding time, it will take this amount of time in milliseconds, right? Now this is the corresponding graph of the incremental k-means on the incremental data. of the existing data set, right? Now, if we will check the percent of delta change in between two, this is the actual time is actual k-means time, and this is the incremental k-means time, and this is the percent of delta change in between the old data and the new data, new incoming data. So প্রত্যেকটা ক্ষেত্রে যদি compare করি, and if you will draw this comparison in a graph, this is the actual k-means and this is the incremental k-means. So you understood that up to a certain percent of delta change, your incremental k-means is performing better than the actual k-means, right? Your incremental k-means performs better than the actual k-means. It takes less amount of time. দেখো এই এত percent of delta change এর ক্ষেত্রে it will take less amount of time, but here the existing k-means will take more amount of time. But after this certain percentage of threshold value or certain percent of delta change, your incremental k-means will take again more amount of time, and your existing k-means take less amount of time. So up to this certain percentage of threshold value change, that means 57%, my algorithm incremental k-means performs better than the existing. That I have concluded here. Clear? Understood? কে বুঝতে পারোনি বলো? The concept which I have already discussed in terms of example, যেটা টেবিল দিয়ে বললাম, that I have shown you here by applying on a original data sets, West Bengal pollution control data sets, and showing you on a incremental one. Clear? বুঝতে পারছো? কে বুঝতে পারোনি বলো?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear তো?
Yes.
Very good. So the same thing will be applicable for the density based clustering, my DBSCAN clustering, and these are the comparison results of DBSCAN clustering. So in case of k-means clustering, we have achieved the threshold values 57%. In case of DBSCAN clustering, we almost achieved the value of 72% of threshold. In case of DBSCAN, it's much better. And based on this pollution, look, this result is totally depends on the architecture where you are actually running your code, and it also depends on the nature of the data sets where you are going to apply. Okay, and I have applied these things on a pollution control data sets, which I already showed you, with only 4 features are there. So we can apply this concept for a large data sets as well. A incremental k-means এর কোডটা কিন্তু কোথাও পাবে না, which I have implemented by my own, right? এগুলো কিন্তু থাকে না. You will get a code of the typical k-means. You will get a code of the typical DBSCAN, মানে existing k-means, existing DBSCAN কোডটা পাবে. But for incremental k-means code, you will have to implement by your own. Okay, that I have implemented here in the form of Java platform. Right. So as a conclusion, we can say that using incremental concept in the clustering method is the main focus of this paper or thesis, whatever you say. Here, mainly 2 clustering algorithms we have actually used, and actually shown that how they will behave, k-means and DBSCAN. That means I have used the concept for incremental partitioning method and incremental density based method. Okay, incremental hierarchical টা করার সময় পাইনি, so you can also try as your final year project, you can also try for incremental hierarchical. Okay, এখন হয়তো কেউ না কেউ কোনো রিসার্চার হয়তো করে দিয়েছে, because this work I did almost 8 years 9 years back. Okay, so within this amount of time, I think incremental hierarchical, you can also go for it if you devise a much better incremental hierarchical clustering. So আমি তোমাদের প্রত্যেককে বলেছিলাম there are 2 kind of research we can do. One is application based research, another one is algorithmic based research. This is the research which is an algorithmic based research. That means I have devised a new algorithm, or I have changes something on the existing algorithm to make it much better in terms of other performance, right? So this is the algorithmic based research. Second type of research is application oriented research. That means you have applied the k-means plus existing k-means and DBSCAN or any other clustering to a different area. Suppose for COVID-19, you have collected the virus database or features of the virus, that the COVID-19 virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus datasets, and you're applying the k-means and DBSCAN clustering algorithm to make a proper cluster on this search dataset, on this COVID dataset. So that means your application is specific. That's why that research is called application oriented research, because your application is specific to COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2. So someone can also apply the similar kind of clustering technique for other kind of data sets. Suppose they actually applying that clustering technique k-means and DBSCAN for dengue data set. So their application is totally specific for the dengue data set. They're actually handling the features of the dengue virus. Right. So that is called application oriented research. Understood? So obviously you can understand algorithmic oriented research is it's little bit complex compared to application oriented research. Clear? Is it clear to everyone? প্রত্যেকে বুঝতে পারলে?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will share this PPT with you. We have almost ended this session. Okay, so I am stopping this session. Everyone, please join the same link for the next session. The next session, I will discuss about the DB scan or density-based clustering. Okay. Thank you. I'm stopping down this session.